Prince William's shocking confession finally exposes the truth about his life and royal struggles. What if everything you thought about Prince William was a lie? For years, he has been the picture of composure, the steadfast future king. But behind closed doors, the story is completely different. Now, in a revelation that has allegedly rocked the royal family, William is finally breaking his silence. What has he confessed about his deepest struggles, his family, and the crushing weight of royal duty? From the haunting legacy of Princess Diana to the impossible expectations he's carried since childhood, this revelation could change the course of the monarchy forever. Is the future king reaching a breaking point? Stay with us as we expose the truth behind his emotional revelation and why the royal family may never be the same again. 1. Breaking the silence. Prince William's rare confession. Prince William has always been known as the quiet, composed one in the royal family. He grew up under the constant gaze of cameras, learning how to say just the right things and keep everything else locked away. Unlike his younger brother, who often makes headlines for being outspoken, William has built his life around being calm, controlled, and private. But this time, something changed. Prince William reportedly opened up about how tough it is trying to balance his life in the spotlight and his private world. He straight up said, "I hate to lose control." Talk about wanting to do things his way. He also talked about how much he craved freedom, but also how royal duties were always hanging over him. Even though he's got all this responsibility, he always made it clear that family comes first. He even mentioned how important it was for him to keep his kids' lives as normal as possible, despite the fact that his son, George, is already in line to be king one day. William's always been about giving his kids love and stability, keeping things grounded. But deep down, he knows he's got no choice but to step into even bigger royal shoes when his dad, Charles, took the throne. He's just trying to figure out how to stay true to himself while balancing the whole royal thing. The reason this revelation is so shocking is that the royal family has always followed an unwritten rule: never complain, never explain. They keep their struggles hidden, no matter how much pressure they are under. This is why William's words matter so much, because they break this very rule. It reminds people that no matter how much wealth or power someone has, no one is immune to pain, doubt, or hardship. Psychologists say that keeping emotions bottled up for too long can take a toll on a person's mind and body. Scientists have even found that stress can change the way a person's brain works, making them more likely to feel anxious or sad. And here's a crazy fact. Some studies show that extreme stress can even make your hair turn gray faster. No wonder so many royals go gray young. What William did might not seem like a big deal at first, but in reality, it's huge. It challenges the idea that strong people must always hide their feelings. It tells the world that even those who seem the most put together are still figuring things out, just like everyone else. 2. The weight of the crown. Struggles of a future king. From the moment he can walk and talk, every word he says is analyzed. He can't throw a tantrum like other kids because people expect him to be well-behaved all the time. If he makes a mistake, it's not just a small scolding from his parents, it's national headlines. There's no room for bad grades, no skipping lessons, no chasing dreams of becoming an artist, an astronaut, or even just someone who doesn't want to be in the spotlight. His life is already planned out for him, and there is no escape. Scientists say that growing up under this kind of constant scrutiny can mess with a person's emotions. Children raised under extreme pressure are more likely to struggle with sadness, anxiety, and even identity crises. And it's not just about feelings. Brain scans of highly stressed kids show real physical changes in the way their brains develop. History is full of examples where future kings cracked under this weight. Some ran away, giving up their titles to live normal lives. Some became distant, unable to express emotions because they had spent their entire lives being told to act like a ruler. Some, trapped in palaces filled with gold and silk, felt more imprisoned than the poorest people in their kingdom. A surprising fact? Even though these royal children have the best doctors, nutritionists, and trainers, their mental health struggles are often as bad, if not worse, than the average person's. Studies suggest that being famous and powerful doesn't make people happier. In fact, it often makes them lonelier. And the craziest part, no matter how much they suffer, they can never really say it out loud. A regular person can talk about their problems, go to therapy, or even take a break. But a prince who is destined to be king, he has to smile, wave, and pretend everything is fine. Because the moment he admits he's struggling, the world starts doubting if he's strong enough to rule. 3. Princess Diana's influence. A mother's legacy. When Prince William was just 15, he walked behind his mother's coffin, surrounded by a sea of mourners and flashing cameras. The whole world grieved for Diana, but for him, it wasn't about a lost public icon. It was about losing his mum. She was the one who hugged him tight, who took him to fast food restaurants when no one was looking, who taught him that kindness mattered more than royal rules. And then, just like that, she was gone. Diana wasn't just famous. She was hounded. Every step she took, a camera followed. Every move she made, the press turned into a spectacle. And on one tragic night in 1997, she died in a Paris tunnel while trying to escape them. That moment changed William forever. He saw firsthand what the world's obsession with royalty could do to a person, how it could twist love into pressure, admiration into suffocation. And from that day, he made a silent promise. His own family would never go through what his mother did. Today, that promise shapes everything he does. He married for love, just like Diana wanted. He raises his children away from constant media glare, making sure they experience as normal a childhood as possible. He embraces duty, but on his own terms. He talks about emotions, mental health, and struggles, things royals once avoided. His mother dreamed of a modern, more human monarchy, and through him, that dream is becoming reality. Scientists say childhood trauma leaves a permanent mark, but it doesn't always break a person. It can drive them to do better. And William is perhaps an example of it. 4. The strain on his marriage with Kate Middleton. Now, Prince William and Kate Middleton seem like the perfect couple in public. Always smiling, always composed. But imagine living a life where every move you make is watched by millions. Where your job isn't just a job, but a lifelong duty. And where even a small frown can turn into headline news. That's the kind of pressure their marriage is under every single day. People have started whispering that things might not be as perfect behind closed doors. This claim is unverified. It's not hard to see why. William was born into a life where he has no choice but to follow strict rules. And Kate, despite coming from a wealthy background, stepped into a world that was like a golden cage. They can't just be a normal husband and wife. Their schedules are packed with royal engagements, meetings, and public appearances, leaving little time for anything else. Even something as simple as going on a date without being swarmed by cameras is nearly impossible. And then there's the weight of expectation. William isn't just a prince, he's the future king. That means every part of his life is planned out years in advance. Kate, too, is expected to be the perfect royal wife. Always graceful, never making mistakes. Imagine having to be on every single second, never able to relax, never able to just be yourself. The world saw what this pressure did to William's mother, Princess Diana. Now, do your math. 5. Family feuds. Tensions with Prince Harry. Also, if you remember, Prince William and Prince Harry were once the closest of brothers, practically inseparable. They grew up together, faced the same childhood pain, and always had each other's backs. But now? It's a completely different story. The two barely speak, and when they do, it's tense. The world has watched their relationship crumble, but William's recent confession purportedly sheds some light on just how deep the cracks go. William, the older of the two, has always been the more responsible one. He knew from a young age that one day he'd be king, and that meant duty always came first. Harry, on the other hand, was always more carefree, more rebellious. While William followed the path laid out for him, Harry wanted to carve out his own, and that's exactly what he did. The real breaking point came when Harry and Meghan decided to step away from royal life. It wasn't just shocking to the world, it was a bombshell inside the family. William saw it as abandoning their duty, while Harry felt like he was escaping a life that was suffocating him. These interpretations are unverified. The tension only got worse when Harry started speaking publicly about his struggles within the royal family. For William, this felt like betrayal. The boy he grew up with, the one who was his closest friend, now feels like a stranger. And maybe Harry feels the same way. William is preparing to be king, while Harry is building a new life across the ocean. Some say they'll never repair the damage. Others hope that, deep down, the bond they shared as kids is still there, waiting to be mended. What do you think? 6. The burden of public expectations. Leaders always become a symbol, expected to be flawless, because they don't just make choices for themselves, they make choices under endless expectations. Every decision is measured by its impact and perception. If they act boldly, they're reckless. If they hesitate, they're weak. Take Abraham Lincoln. Many think he was always set on ending slavery, but he moved carefully to avoid losing support. His success was about managing public expectations. Leaders today face the same challenge. They can't get too far ahead of public opinion, or risk being abandoned. In simple terms, criticism is constant. History also shows how this pressure can break people. Julius Caesar was loved but killed when political tides turned. Winston Churchill led Britain to victory, only to be voted out afterward. Public opinion is unpredictable, and those in power know it can turn on them at any moment. So, the weight of expectations changes people. It makes them think, act, and sometimes betray their values. They walk a fine line, trying to meet public demands while holding on to their true selves. But no one can be perfect, and yet the world expects them to be. This is the burden they carry daily. 7. His personal struggles with mental health. For the same reason, William has struggled with feelings that many of us can relate to, like anxiety, stress, and even grief. It's not just the kind of thing you see in movies or hear about in books. It's real, and it affects so many of us. What's surprising to many is how open he has been about it. In fact, a study found that around 1 in 5 people deal with some form of mental health issue every year, but most don't speak up. Because it's easy to hide your struggles when you're in the public eye, but he didn't do that. Instead, he tried to break down the idea that we should be ashamed of feeling down sometimes. Over time, he learned ways to take care of his mind, just like we all take care of our bodies. And he helped many people realize that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. It's something we all deal with, and that makes us all stronger. 8. The fight to modernize the monarchy. Prince William, the future King of England, has also been talking a lot about the idea of changing the royal family to keep up with the times. He believes that the monarchy, while important to history and tradition, needs to adjust to fit the world we live in today. Imagine trying to use a phone from the 90s in today's world. It would be kind of crazy. That's how he feels about the monarchy. One of the biggest challenges for Prince William is finding the balance between holding on to traditions, like wearing crowns and attending formal events, and making sure the royal family doesn't seem stuck in the past. He knows that younger people, especially in the age of social media, don't want to see the royal family as a bunch of people living in the past. They want to see them as real people who care about today's issues, like the environment, mental health, and even social justice. The prince is not the only one thinking this way. Studies show that a lot of younger people in the UK are losing interest in the monarchy, with some even saying that they think it should be abolished. This statistic is unverified. But what's really shocking is that the royal family still brings in billions of dollars through tourism and other activities. So, Prince William is aware of this responsibility, and he's careful not to ignore the history and importance of the monarchy while also trying to keep it relevant. He's been showing that he's up for the challenge, taking a modern approach to things like charity work and environmental issues. The way he talks about these topics is helping people see that the monarchy is still valuable, but it needs to evolve with time. It's clear that William is thinking about how the monarchy can change for the better, without losing sight of what it represents. 9. Fatherhood and protecting his children. Prince William's children, George, Charlotte, and Louis also live under a lot of attention. People are always talking about them, snapping pictures, and even trying to guess what they'll do next. But William is determined to make sure his kids don't feel the same pressure he faced when he was their age. As a dad, he makes sure his children don't have to go through that same experience. He works hard to protect them from too much attention. For example, he makes sure they go to school like any other kids and enjoy a regular childhood. He doesn't want their lives to be completely controlled by cameras and the constant pressure of the public eye. On top of that, William wants his kids to grow up with strong values like kindness, compassion, and humility. These are things that were important to him as he was raised, and he wants his children to learn the same lessons. What's truly surprising is that even though they're royal, he doesn't want them to care about being in the spotlight. Instead, he wants them to focus on being the best version of themselves, no matter who's watching. 10th, his true feelings about King Charles III's reign. Finally, Prince William has always had a complicated relationship with his father, King Charles III, especially as the crown passed from Queen Elizabeth II to him. Prince William had to grow up fast and take on a lot of responsibility. Even though his dad was the one doing all the royal duties for years, William was right there, watching and learning, knowing that one day it would be his turn to step up. Despite any difficulties, William has always supported his father. But like any son, he probably has his own feelings about the changes. The idea of the crown passing from Queen Elizabeth II to Charles was a huge deal. It wasn't just about power, it was about history. But Charles, even though he's been waiting a long time, is getting older, and many wonder if he will be able to lead the country the way people expect him to. Prince William, now older, likely feels more responsibility weighing on him every day. He's seen what his father went through, and he's ready for the future, even though that comes with big shoes to fill. What's really interesting is that studies show Prince William, despite all the public appearances, actually has a deep sense of duty and responsibility. This claim is unverified. He's been preparing for years to take on a leadership role. And when it comes to the future, a lot of people think William could be the one to bring fresh ideas and modern thinking to the monarchy. When he becomes king, the world might look very different than it did when his father first took the throne. The one thing that's pretty surprising is that even though many people would think Prince William might have problems with his father being king after all these years, he's actually said that he admires the way his dad has handled things. This statement is unverified, but the crown can be a tricky thing. It's not just about wearing a big hat, it's about leading people, making tough decisions, and keeping a country stable. Do you think William can handle that well? 11. The shadow of Princess Diana's tragic fate. Prince William can't help but think about his mum, Princess Diana, and what she went through with the media. She was constantly followed by paparazzi, no matter what she was doing, whether it was spending time with her kids or just trying to relax. These days, he's super protective of his wife, Kate, and their kids. He knows just how powerful the media is and how tough it can make life. Imagine having cameras in your face every time you go out for ice cream or play at the park. That's their reality. William's determined to keep his kids safe from the same kind of pain his mum went through, so he does everything he can to keep their lives private. But no matter what, it feels like the world just can't stop obsessing over them. It's a constant worry for William, and he fears the media's attention could hurt his family, just like it did his mum. 12. What this means for the future of the monarchy. So when someone like William speaks openly about being human, it could change how people feel about the whole royal family. A lot of people might start to see them as more relatable and real instead of like untouchable figures. You might be surprised to know that around 70% of people in the UK have said they want the royal family to be more open about their personal lives. This statistic is unverified. That honesty could shape the future of the monarchy in ways that no one expected. About it like this: when you know someone is going through the same stuff as you, it makes you like them more, right? This could really change how people view the monarchy in the years to come. What do you think about his confession? Will it change the monarchy's future? Share your thoughts in the comments, And don't forget to subscribe for more untold royal stories. Thanks for watching, and see you at our next.